Oh, we on. What's going on, party people? This is L'Esprit. It's definitely a pleasure having you in, especially if this is your first time here with us. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the whole WrestleMania team is behind me. You can't see them, though. Highly protected, baby. But anyway, I was bragging. I'm bragging, but it's all good, though. You know what I'm saying? But, welcome, guys. It's definitely a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be in for one. Now, if this is your first time here, again, what I talk about spirituality. And in fact, in just a few minutes here, and I always, because you never know who's watching, who doesn't know what you do, what you don't do, you know what I'm saying? But if you're coming back, you already know, still sharp and still, you know what I'm saying? Get your plate, you already know what you went for. So, but today, man, I just wanted to be a little more general. You know, there was a couple things that kind of like caught my mind. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to get a couple things off my chest. I'm heavy, you know what I'm saying? Chested right now. Like I have a lot on my chest at this moment. You know what I'm saying? Shit. So we're gonna talk about some shit. So technically, I talk about spirituality, and essentially, spirituality is our life, right? And I'm glad I'm going to be talking about this because, I was actually watching something today, right? And, without getting too much into the details and things like that, it all came down to this, right? So it's like, do you talk about spirituality to people who cannot eat? Like, because spirituality has been looked at as, something that is very distant from us. It's like unreal. Like, if you're happy, then you talk about spirituality. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But if you're not happy, then shit is real. Just like we do the same thing with love, you know what I'm saying, in our culture, you know what I'm saying, in America, right? We don't talk about love, right? And we minimize it only because it's not the real thing. We don't say it that way, but can love pay your bills? That has always been, the thing that follows love. Like, especially, because people think they're being real at this point. So what they're also saying is that spirituality, this is bullshit. This is the real shit now. And that's exactly what I wanted to talk about. Well, not the love part, because people tend to do the same thing for spirituality as well. In fact, oh man, I got some shit to speak about. Woo. All right, you know what I'm saying? Give me a second here. There's so much going on. But anyway, let's get right into it, right? Now, if I were to go back to the love shit, because that's what I had in mind, right? Well, that's not what I'm going to be talking about. But why not touching all the different part of it, right? So generally what I'm trying to show you here is that we minimize it because when it comes to the real thing, but the mystery behind that, though, is that we are hurt. Or maybe we don't want to be open to love. We're not vulnerable, right? But most importantly, we're hurt. You can always spot when someone is hurt is speaking because you can't hide it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, hurt people have hurt conversations. You know what I'm saying? Like, and unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. And it's funny because last night I was thinking about this. I was saying to myself how now I chose to be happy. And by choosing to be happy, it's a state of mind. Even for you to make that choice, to say to yourself you're not dealing with toxicity, you got to reach a certain level. Because in most cases, someone who's toxic doesn't know that they're toxic. So how do you choose? Do you see what I'm saying? And I was saying that to myself last night. I was some bullshit, but anyway. Oh, and I'm also in the process of writing a book, so that was the whole thing behind it. But So I was saying this to say, to get back to the hurt part. So that's what people are not openly saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish I could be a translator. You know what I'm saying? When, motherfuckers are saying, man, can I pay a, like, first of all, that doesn't make any sense. You talking about oranges and motherfucking, I don't even know, like, stars. We're talking about oranges, like, two different things. That's like you saying, now, do you take a shower? Like, can you pay your bills with water? One have nothing to do with the other. Money is the medium of exchange that we use, for our services, either received or that you're giving to somebody. No, love cannot pay your bills. Can air pay your bills? But yet you need it to be alive. And people tend to normalize that when people talk about it. Because now when they're talking about reality truly now has become, it's really their fear. But they call it reality. It's like, let's just say a motherfucker been paying their bills for like, let's just say 11 months. And that on the 12th month, the motherfuckers just don't have the money. And now all of a sudden shit got real. So it was all fake when you were paying your rent until that 12th month. And ironically, that's what the Matrix is talking about. Your definition of what reality is misery. I mean, I can't recall the way they said it, but that was a part of the Matrix when, I think it was Morpheus when he was breaking this shit down. So your definition of real is misery. Or something bad that fucking happened. Do you see what I'm saying? So now with that in mind, how do we look at spirituality? In fact, you know what? I'm gonna fucking say the shit because I said that then. It's on YouTube. Check it out. This Indian guy, he did it again. This motherfucker did it again. So there's a video out there where he was talking about, I mean, I can't recall his name, Sad something, Hood, anyway, whatever. He was saying, in fact, he was the one that said, he wouldn't talk about spirituality. He wouldn't talk spirituality to somebody who cannot eat because they can't eat. I mean, I can't remember the title of that shit, but I've been spotting. Anyway, it is what it is. That's my business. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stay on this lane. You know what I'm saying? So the misconceptions. That's what we're talking about here. So, but to make a long story short, I mean, I'm not, gonna say he was right or wrong, but technically, what he was saying is his spirituality, his teachings, were not for broke people. Because if you can't eat, he's not gonna talk about God with you. For some reason, it's like when you can't eat, God doesn't exist. It's kind of like the spell of, can you still learn? If you don't eat, what comes first, right? I mean, obviously we need to eat so we could learn. But learning can also help us to eat too. So there's a relationship here. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. But what I'm trying to say, I'm trying to point out how one-sided that they are. They don't see the bigger picture. They don't see the full picture. Oh, Nicki Minaj said that shit. I love that shit. How the fuck did she say it? You can't see the picture. I have to crop you out. I like that. That was nice. That was cute. That was cute, girl. That was cute. I liked it. And I heard that. I can't remember what. Oh, yeah. It was that reggae song. Was it reggae? Who the fuck? I can't recall. But anyway. So that's what his teachings were all about. Okay, so I guess, that was a short publicity for this nigga. So his spirituality, you know what I'm saying? But it's also linked. I mean, I'm wilding a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But it's all linked to what we're talking about here. So now, and this is also, if this is your first time, this is a great conversation for me to even talk about, because now we're going to really talk about what spirituality is. Do you see what I'm saying? Because it seems like, whenever people are talking about spirituality, it's like, I don't know, it's something reserved. But yet, I actually had a video, and I'm not going to get too much into it, but I'll just tell you enough, where I was showing you the story of creation. Your understanding of the story of creation is the foundation of your culture. Essentially, that's what I was talking about. But I went through the different parts but anyway, to get back to what I was saying, I'm also saying this too. So in other words, what makes us spiritual or spirit, because everything is mental. Even a whore who's just using her pussy, she got to be smart. So in this life, there's no way around you not using your brain. Well, guess what? What you call the brain, not the physical part or your mind, is that non-physical aspect of you. So therefore, what we're saying is, and what the reality is, what you know will determine your life. That's why, I had another video too when I was saying, your God is your life. So, in other words, I'm trying to tell you that you cannot dissociate spirituality from your life, period. Okay, so let's just say, okay, I'm trying to get some money. How the fuck are you going to get money? You don't get money first of all, you don't make money chasing money. That's one. What the fuck? Like, I know there's a lot of people trying to rap and shit. Like, would you say Jay-Z, like, what the fuck? Like, this nigga had hot songs, man. He had fucking hot singles out there. Or hits. To make a long story, well, that's the word I was looking for. So even though these motherfuckers be, I'm out here trying to chase the money, no, they got music. And good music too, that a lot of people like. Somebody else's song that people don't like, I don't give a fuck how much hustling that you fucking trying to do. So you have the perfection, or perfectionate, what's the word that I'm looking for here? There's something about your craft. You definitely have to, it's not coming to me, but you definitely got to work on your craft. You got to perfect your craft. So you don't make money chasing money. So if you want to be real, who's being real here? Because your definition of what real life is misery. It's when you're unhappy. It's accident. It's death. Meanwhile, there's a lot of other things that's happening in life too, but you don't call them life. Or real. And how real is that? So it's a misconception to think that spirituality has nothing to do with you. You are spirit. That's because you seen things as a child. You're not able to see beyond what you're looking at. You can't go the distance. So no, spirituality, you know what I'm saying? It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not these motherfuckers walking around with the towel, wrapped around their asses and shit. Or with, I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying, because at one point, spirituality tends to look that way. If you're spiritual, that's what you gotta look like. In reality, we are all spiritual. We are spirit. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how real you trying to get. Let's get real. If you want to be real, let's be real. Let's be real. The reason why love is not appreciated in our society, unfortunately, because a lot of us are hurt. We have not done our shadow work. Meaning, this is also another esoteric term that is used okay, let me slow it down. Every profession has what is called the vernacular. They have a certain way of saying things. The cops, when they're talking to another cop, trying to communicate to another police officer, have certain codes. That's the vernacular. A doctor, same thing. Nurses with the doctor, those medical terminologies. Accountants. Do you see where I'm going with this? So where I'm going with this is because a lot of people have also a misconception when we talk about your shadow or your dark, the dark side of you. The dark side of you simply means the non-physical side of you. This is the light side of me because you can see it. The dark side of me, you cannot see it, but it's still here too though. We all roll together. But that would be on a whole different story because, I always got to acknowledge it. Because we all come together. Have to come together. And that's how you become healed. Because I am healed, meaning I have reconciled all of those different aspects of myself. They all come together. Because you also got to keep in mind, we are not rewarded for being ourselves in this society. That's why a lot of us are living our lives based on who we should be instead of who we are. It's not a coincidence a motherfucker can't tell you what I love. Well, you never were encouraged to find out what the fuck you love. So here you are, 40 years old, trying to figure out what the fuck you love. It's no coincidence. Now, can you see the spiritual aspect of that? Can you see the non-physical, how our life are very much impacted by what we don't see, by our intellect? In other words, I'm showing you the spirit in you and spirituality, which is your life. That's why you can't dissociate it from your life. So to say, let's just say, the whole spirituality is not helping you, or you not understanding how vital it is into your life now, you're just missing the point. You asked out. Put your pants up, man. You wildin'. Don't do that. I guess what I'm trying to say is the question itself, oh, sorry. Oh, goddamn. Blessed. Too blessed to be stressed, baby. So even to raise that type of question in itself shows a lack of understanding. Obviously, but on top of it too, whoever's asking that or is posing the question doesn't know who they are. Because regardless of whatever you want to talk about, even if it's money, let's talk about money. And I just told you, you don't make money chasing money. Whoever those top dog companies are, they are producing a product. There's exchange going on. Yes, they're saying they're going to make money. Of course, they got to make money because they're giving you something. That's why they're trying to, program you to buy it through motherfucking marketing at this point. We know, what? We're going to make this money. We got to come up with this idea. Or this product's going to sell. So even though they're chasing money, but they know they got to go here first. So you can't really make money by chasing money, and they know it too. Even though they're saying but they know that's what they got to do though. Do you see what I'm saying? It's kind of like, oh, I'm gonna fuck your mind up. Give it a second. It's kind of like, you know what? Nah. All right, let's just go. Anyway, I'm on some bullshit, right? How I'm looking out here? How am I looking so far? Y'all good? Get your shit, man. I mean, by now, you should definitely know you definitely in for one. I wasn't lying. I'm a man of my word, motherfucker. I deliver every time. But anyway. Let's talk about money. That's exactly what we were talking about. They know they got to do something. You got to sell a product. Do you see what I'm saying? Even the niggas that are hustling, they got the right mentality. However, even when they talk about the streets, where do you think McDonald's is? Isn't that the street? Where do you think the fucking Chinese food is? It's the street. So what niggas are calling the streets, man, is illegal activities that they're fucking doing. See, you got to be able to understand people's language, man. You got to pass beyond the bullshit. You got to know how to get there for you to get there, though. You can't get there without not knowing how to get there. And it's unfair, but it is what it is. Those who knows. But as you're learning, as you're knowing, it's your duty to water your garden, to develop your mind, to feed yourself. And your mind is always being fed, but now you got to take accountability on what you're putting into this thing here. Wake your ass up, man. When motherfuckers talking about the street, the fuck are they talking about? The lawyers, the fucking medical, like shit. My job is motherfucking, it is in the motherfucking streets. The plumbers and everybody. But a lot of us are under this mind control to think this way. That's what mind control is. So now even me talking about these things about the streets, I had to get you outside of the box by showing you, McDonald's also in these streets. Burger King, what's your favorite thing? Them chicken wings, them nightclubs, everybody is in them streets. And that's how you decode a culture. And that's how I was able to understand a lot of these shows. Well, that's why they don't talk about love. It's not real. It's fake. Because your reality is misery. That's a sad reality, dog. That's a hell of a reality. I'm going to leave it at that. Oh, my reality is different, baby. You know what I'm saying? It's looking good, feeling good, and then shit. That's my reality. That's how I gotta stay on my God shit, man. You feel me? But anyway, that's some random shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm wilding for a second. That's why in the Kabbalion, we talk about, well, they talk about, or we talk about, shit, I was right. We talk about all is mental. I don't give a fuck. Like, show me something. I don't know. Michael Jordan. Very skilled, fucking, he's good at what he does. Not just good, great at what he does. Especially when this motherfucker, like, stick his fucking tongue out. You know you're in trouble. Prince, Michael Jackson, I don't know. Tell me. You do not make money chasing money. Everything is mental. There's an exchange. You got to give to receive. Those are spiritual laws that you're living by every day. You want to get a paycheck from your job? What do? You give. Depending on what you're giving and how much of you that you're giving, some of us make more money. Others, that's what your managers do. They're giving their intellect. They're organizing, whatever the fuck, supervising, controlling, all the INGs. Guess what? They get a little more money than you. So even not for you to even look at spirituality as very distant from you, it's a big mistake. You got your ass out. I'm trying to let you know, hey, your ass is out. Here you are out there with no motherfucking underwear on, and then you just walking around like Adam and Eve, nigga. You know, I'm trying to give you a piece of that fruit. You know what I mean? Shit. Niggas wildin'. You know? You'll sleep. I got you. I'm gonna give it to you in twos, baby. How my man, oh, shout out to Love Deluxe, man. Yo, he said this shit. I love the way he said it, though. You gotta give him the medicine in the dessert. Well, niggas, I'm giving you your fucking dessert, nigga. And the medicine is in it. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely got to shout out that nigga, man. But the way I say it, though, I mean, it's not related, but it's the cure of the pain. It's in the pain. So all I'm trying to say, too, is that there's two different state of mind here as well, but none of them is better than the other. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, you know, there's a difference between what you know and who you're talking to. Right? That's why you have to understand who your audiences are. You know what I'm saying? I'm for everybody. I'm for the divine. Let me take it back. It's not what you think. Shit, I'm very expensive, motherfucker. It's not what you think. If there's money on it, I don't want it. Because the most expensive shit have no fucking prices on them. There's no price tag on that bitch. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a high value nigga. Okay? We value values. But the only way for you to do that, you have to be in touch with yourself, with your higher self. You got to be in alignment with yourself. And for you to do that, you have to bypass society's bullshit because you're not being rewarded for yourself. So a lot of us pretty much got a head start in at being at having a low self esteem. If you're low, you know what I'm saying? Because we were never rewarded for us. Even your mom and dad, they all love you based, it was all conditional love. You got to do something for you to be loved. Or daddy or mommy wants you to go get this. If not, I don't love you. And that's why you're craving for love now. Because you don't know how to be yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's why my relationship and my daughter and shit, you know what I'm saying? Shit. Because I remember I don't know what I gave her, she said. And I didn't have to do anything for her. Now, don't get it fucked up. I do teach them you gotta give to receive. But my love for you is unconditional, nigga. Nothing you could do to please me for me to love you, nigga. You had me at hello, little bitch. So I told my daughter. I know, I called her a bitch. I did. Hey. How the motherfucking ass, hey, bitch. You had me at hello, you hear me? When you came out, like, that was hello. And that was it for me. Shit, way before that. There's nothing you'll do for me to love you. I love you. That's the bottom line. It's unconditional. And I remember when I said, and of course, I didn't, okay, for you crazy motherfuckers, I didn't say it specifically that way, but I can't recall what was the, I think I talked about it before. But anyway, you might want to check out the video about how it happened and what happened. Of course, I didn't pick her up, said bitch and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just saying, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Who's watching, who's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, that. The spirituality is already getting a bad rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, then you'll be like, this spiritual nigga calling his fucking daughter a bitch. Ain't that a bitch? How you gonna lead us, motherfucker? Well, I'm glad you said that. I'm not here to lead you, motherfucker. I'm here to share things with you and for you to change yourself. That's what the healer does. It helps you to heal. Not here for you to follow me. None of that shit. That ain't gonna happen. If you follow me, you're following the wrong motherfucker, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm smoking my shit and I'm drinking my shit. You know what I'm saying? But don't do what I do too, though. It's complicated. We're gonna leave it at that. But anyway, make a long story short, the way society is structured, it's pretty much structured for you not to love yourself. Then you started acting, acting to please other people. Even the little kids. That's the one thing I don't really like about the daycare shit. You know what I'm saying? When my son is around me, this motherfucker's jumping all around the place. Let him jump. That's what kids do. Do you see what I'm saying? So now if you don't allow them to be kids, because that's what they do, now you put them in the fucking box. Now they already being conditioned. That's how they gotta act. It started at a very young age, people. And you cannot dissociate spirituality from it. Those are the institution. That's where your life, that's how your life is the way it is. Now, for you to become the master of your life, to be in touch with your higher self, you have to go through pretty much unfucking yourself by understanding where you got fucked. And that's how you get into your dark side, meaning the side that you don't see, but that exists, but you also understand that has an influence in your life. Then you go in the occult, we say you heal your wounded child. meaning the little kid that never got to express who or she was, because at the daycare you got to sit down. In school you got to do this. You got to act this way. And then there's a part of you, while you watching fucking, I don't know, you're learning about math, and you're thinking about fucking music. And I'm just giving it to you in the lamest terms, to be honest, too. Like, like on some Tyler Perry shit. Like, what I'm saying? That dramatic shit. But that's exactly what's taking place, too. And all of that, what I'm saying, it's your spirituality, meaning you being a spirit, that dark side of you, the unphysical part of you, that is managing the physical part, is under attack or has been programmed to think a certain way. And that's what the Matrix is talking about. And that's what us being in this life, it's all about. So when you think spirituality, has nothing to do with your life, nigga, you crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like us Haitian niggas say, you missing a few things, dog. You're not totally complete. You feel me? You're missing just a couple pages. There's a couple pages that's missing out of your book. You feel me? That's some Haitian shit. So what are we really talking about here? I'm also saying, if this is your first time watching this, or you didn't see the connection, or how you are a spirit operating this body, because I showed you through your emotions. Well, did I mention anything about emotion? No, I talked about love. So yeah, you could talk about emotions that's not fully being expressed. Then we talk about money, your intellect, on how, your survival kit down here, and I had a video on that too. Your survival kit, is your spirituality. It's your knowledge. The idea of you going to school to make more money, that idea is right. Because the more you know, the more you can do. But now what they didn't tell you is that the things that you need to know, they are not necessarily in school. So they're right. The idea is it's perfect. That's why I talk like them. We say the same things, but we don't mean the same thing. See, I'm all about fucking education, but we're talking about two different type of educations here. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I stand on. That's what I take pride in. That's why I tell niggas, I don't give a fuck about your degree. Tell me how much you change, and I'll let you know, if you have your master's or not, nigga. I'll let you know what kind of level you on. You may have a master's degree, but you don't even have a high school diploma, dog. We're speaking different languages here. I'm standing in my square. I value values. So what are we talking about? If you want to talk about high value, shit, nigga, you're in the right place. There's nothing greater than fucking spirituality. Nothing. I'm waiting. Let me know. comment. I'm saying, talk your shit. There's nothing fucking greater than spirituality. In other words, than the Creator. Because the Creator is acting through us, right? Because we are also creating. So we're like this vessel. That's why you can't. Oh my God, I'm wilding on you like now for a second. Let's take it up. Let's take it up to, you know what I'm saying. Let's all right. Let's do it. Let's do this. Why not? That's why we're here, right? You know, for you to know who you are. In other words, by you understanding your relationship to yourself, then you can relate to the universe. That's why even in the Bible, even Jesus said that shit. God and I, we're one, but He's greater. Because the Creator gives me the fucking ideas. But we're one because as He's giving me those ideas, I'm also creating too. That's why you are God in essence, but not in power. And if you look at your God, yourself at anything less than a God, you're not alive. You don't know that you are creating your life. That was the first fucking lesson my guides gave me when I first met them. Well, on the second time. The first time, you know what I'm saying, we were fucking hustling. Because I always travel, right? And anyway, we're just going to skip that. The second time, nigga told me, yo, you're creating your reality, because I had questions. I'm like, what? You even tell me I know I didn't do this? But it all came together, though. And that's what we're talking about. I'm not getting there yet. But, you know, I'm building you up. You know, but sometimes I got to destroy you to build you up too. Meaning, getting you out of that box by destroying you, helping you to see it better, expanding your vision. Because now, since that was the only thing that you knew, or you were attached to it, and you became, that's why there are so many, you know, death and you know, the cycle of death and birth, it's happening in every fucking moment in our lives. You know what I'm saying? That's why as at one point you were a kid, then you're not a kid anymore. Guess what? That person died. That energy died. Then you became something else as we become an adult. The cycle of death and rebirth. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, that was the vernacular of the esoteric or the spiritualist, or what they call the occultist, right? But in the day-to-day language, what that means is you changed. There's nothing spooky about it. Simplicity reveals the master, man. What are we doing? You changed. And as you change, guess what? You become someone new. You have a different personality. I mean, of course, all of those different personalities did not die. They are inside of you. But as you're growing, learning, and your life is being shaped a certain way, now you're shaping your life. This is what you want, whatever the fuck you think you want. But all of those different personalities still resides in you. That's all when I tell niggas I show up with the band, I'm a one-man band. I'm talking about all of them. But I had to bring all of them together. Now let's get back to that. I'm going to show you, then that's what the shadow work is about. And I'm going to show you too, when we talk about the wounded child, what that is. It's simply that kid. Those different type of energies if you didn't heal this part of you, and now you become a fucking adolescent, or what I'm saying, or maybe a young man, a young woman, that shit is always there. And it's hurting you. It has an impact on you because you're not going in accordance with all of you. You're not in harmony yet. And that's what the journey of the one is all about. That's why you will see motherfuckers that told you, or that would tell you, when I was young, I had a low self-esteem. And then now they think they don't have a low self-esteem anymore. But yet what they're doing now is like hurting other people. They're really taking revenge. Do you see what I'm saying? Or if that is not the case, it'll be, they had a very low self-esteem. Now in the future, they don't know how to open up to somebody. They can't do it. Because that past only transformed, but it was not healed. Until you bring it together, until you go back to what happened to you, or it could be some motherfucker that raped you, or, your uncle that fucked you in the middle of the night. The black shit that happens. We all know it, niggas. Come on. That's why you gotta talk about it. By talking about it, you are releasing that energy that was somehow, not being in harmony with you. When you release that energy by speaking about it, by acknowledging it, and by healing it, maybe the motherfucker didn't know any better. Then you found out his uncle fucked him. Now he's fucking everybody else just like he got fucked. Then you realize this motherfucker got fucked. In all different levels. Because for a motherfucker to even fucking rape you, I don't even fucking know I'm talking about rape, but he's fucked. Nigga, I'm wildin'. What the fuck? Spirit, you better chill, man. I don't know what the fuck's going on with this rape shit. But anyway, let's get back to it, right? So I'm showing you what's happening, as you're evolving, going through your life. I'm also showing you too, even though you don't call it the cycle of death and rebirth, that's what they call it in the esoteric vernacular. That's what we were talking about in that profession, in that state, that's how they speak. But in this life, that's why you can't dissociate spirituality from this life either. You got to make the connection. You're not going to be this great spiritual master who do not know how to master his emotions. The fuck? How do you do that? Where do they do that at? Have you seen one? Have you heard of one? No, because the purpose, the purpose of spirituality is for you to be a good human being. Not for the sake of being good, but for the sake of spirituality in itself. For the sake of good itself. Meaning you know how to manage your emotions, not to please others, but the reward is in itself. In other words, for the experience. Oh, I'm dropping bombs, man. That's fun. That's some Funk Master Flex shit. I'm flexing right now. And I'm keeping it funky, huh? Niggas. You gotta let that sink in. Cause I'm taking you to the distance, baby. Let's dance. Let's dance. Let's dance. That's why you're having a human experience. Because that's all it comes down to. How do you want it, man? Motherfuckers. How do y'all niggas want it? You know, and again, that was layered too. If you followed everything I said, all the stones that I've been, pretty much putting down, and if you elevated to that conclusion, but nigga, you made it. If not, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Go back to it. Listen, I think Tahuti said that shit. He said, I'm not going to say it. I always fucking don't, well, yeah, I always forget it. Make a long story short, right? So let's get back to the original question. And if this is your first time, because today I felt like I wanted to address that and be a little more general too. Touch different aspect of spirituality, but most important, different aspect of us, but most importantly, showing you how you can't dissociate that from your spirituality. So if you're not talking about spirituality, that's why it is the highest state of brightness, of understanding, enlightenment. That's what they call it, the highest state of enlightenment. So remember, you got to understand, you got to look up the Enana, I think that's what her name is, mythology. As she was coming down, she lost all of her powers. And when she started going up, so as I'm going up, meaning I'm taking a trip back to my spirituality, attaining different level of my levels, you going up. You go through the journey. And then when I'm satisfied or when I'm ready to go, I exited here. And how do you do that? Through death. Now, for lack of better terms, I'm going to say this. And in the occult, we say, for you to reach heaven, meaning to go back to that original higher state of mind that you were originally in, you got to go through different portals. Now, we're also saying, the Egyptians actually said that your heart has to be as light as a feather, meaning you have to transform. I mean, a lot of people don't really translate it that way, but what this is saying is you got to transcend this reality. You got to transcend. So the whole purpose about they would ask you a few questions, and Anubis would be the one at the gate. Then they have the scale, which is Ma'at. Those are just figure of speech, telling you about the different portals or transformation that you're going through, but they got to put it in human form so you understand. Like, if I were to pull out a cross to you right now, you know exactly what a cross is. This is Christ that died for us. Yes, repent, motherfucker, for your sins. When they worshiping that cross, is it the cross that they were worshiping? You tell me. I'll let you, because I talk about that shit before, but I was talking about some voodoo shit. And I got to do some shit on voodoo too. Who's best to do it but the Haitian kid? You already know. Oh, that one, shit, nigga. I got a shit. That one would have to be in Creole, dog. Like, because there's certain. Sorry, guys. You know what I'm saying? Or it would have to be a mixture of both of them. Because there's certain things that has to be said. It has to be said a certain way. Talk your slang, man. I already talk about that. Anyway, talk your shit. Slang shit, all that shit. So to get back to what we were talking about, this allegory of having your heart as light as a feather, meaning with the balance, right? You know, meaning how you're gonna transcend. So having your heart as light as a feather simply means to be pure, to be balanced, to be in harmony, to be holistic, to be perfect. But when you're one-sided, you cannot be whole. Now, when I talk about perfection, I'm not talking about being flawless here. We're talking about perfection, like the yin and the yang. Life is perfectly imperfect, if you understand what I just said. And what's understood doesn't have to be explained. Good and bad, or everything that happens in your life, it all makes sense. Me becoming the person that I'm becoming now, I understood why, you know what I'm saying, on my pimp shit, I had to come down to Haiti. All that shit's making sense to me. All that shit's coming together. Where you were born, why were you born there? You know, depending on how deep you're getting into yourself, into the mystère. Some shit, listen, man, that's a whole different thing. That's got to be left alone. And I love that shit too, though. Oh, we talking dirty over here. All the way dirty. Shout out to that nigga Loaded Lux, man. This motherfucker, man. Shut you out, nigga. Oh, we talking dirty over here. But anyway, so all of that, I'm saying all of that to say, but it was important for us to go through different portals. So now, we could reach our destination, right? At some point, any, travels has to come to an end. Any great adventures got to come to an end, guys. But I'm saying this to say, to conclude, as we're putting everything together, now that you understand, like, that's why your survival, that's why the meaning of life, it's not just a fucking experience. Oh my God. So I talked about that shit too. That's where the whole experience thing comes in. What the fuck? All this time I didn't even charge this nigga. Ugh. Oh, fuck up. Hold up. Okay, we're back in action. How we looking? Okay. What the fuck was I talking about? So yeah. Damn. Yeah, you gotta forgive me on this one. I think I lost it. It's all connected. So let's get back to it, right? As we speak, I guess it'll just come back, right? So we were talking about. Okay, now okay. So we were talking about how, even to raise the question of how relevant spirituality is to your life, it's a lack of it's a misunderstanding on whoever's asking the question to begin with. And we went over why. Okay, so we said why, right? So you motherfuckers asked why. Well, nigga, guess what? Everything in your life, it's being shaped, or is your physical or your light side of you is dominated by your dark side of you. That's what the occult would say. Meaning that the non-physical aspect of you is the part that is in charge, that is shaping what you're seeing in you. That's why everybody should have a motherfucking therapist. And a healer, in so many words, that's what I do. I help you to identify those blocks as I'm taking you to fucking, spaces, as you can see. So therefore, when we have a consultation, we're going to go in. Helping you to go through your shadow work, meaning helping you to go through those non-physical things that happen that you did not acknowledge, but that are affecting you. Now, for you to acknowledge them. And that's why knowledge is power, because as you acknowledge them, that's the thing about mind control. Once you acknowledge them, it's never going to be the same. So that also goes back to what I was telling you. A lot of you, your wounded child, and the person that you are becoming are forever evolving. There's no reconciliation. There's no unification. And that's where the problem comes in. That's a healness. That's a healness. And that's where the doctor comes in. The healer comes in. We're connecting the dots. We're giving sights to the blinds. By helping you to acknowledge that part of you. Now, once you do so, I'm saying, the merrier the better, nigga. Have a good life, bitch. Here you go. I know what I came here to do. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have shit. I'm expensive as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Your money's no good here, dog. Money's no good, man. You gotta get that real currency. Then we'll talk. This is on a whole different level here. No playing field. But anyway, so in so many words, what are we saying here? Let's just summarize pretty much everything, right? So you cannot dissociate spirituality from your life. And unfortunately, the way spirituality has been looked on, that perception in itself, doesn't make sense. It's not it. So from the jump, you're already looking at spirituality from a fucked up perspective to begin with. So if you're looking at it like that, how can you relate to it? You're not going to relate to it. Just like if you have been conditioned not to be yourself, you don't know what it's like to be yourself. Talking to yourself would be weird to you. Well, not to me, nigga. We drank together. You know what I'm saying? We do all that shit together. Telling you, there's a whole bunch of gang behind me. You don't see them, though. But if you see, you'll see. You'll know. We're the spirit spoke person, man. We're doing what we're supposed to, man. But anyway, I'm saying all of this to say, you cannot. But understanding spirituality, but most importantly, who you are, which is also spirituality as well, or spirit, it helps you to navigate. Now, I wanted to connect that to, the saying of, let's just say, because as I stated, reality has been defined as misery in America. or in our culture, because this is important to say. The Matrix was talking about not the whole world. I'm sorry. This is the reality here. And when you don't travel, you you tend to think this is how everybody's thinking, because you don't know anything else. I mean, there's no, we ain't taking no shots here. There's nothing. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. How would you know, nigga? You just do it. Then you know differently. That's all. If you travel, you go to France, that alone will change your fucking mentality. That alone, nigga. Be like, oh shit, okay. At least you would come back and be like, okay, like I know what we do with cheese here. That's what these motherfuckers do with cheese over there. And then the niggas you be talking to that has not been there, be like, what? Them niggas, they wildin'. All that shit. So then you realize this is a mental institution. It's all mental. Again, referring back to you, it's all spiritual. It's all fucking, like, there's no way around that. Even you getting money, even you getting pussy. How do you want it? Whichever one you want to talk about, let's talk about it. You let me know something that's not mental, or that you do outside of your thinking or your intellect. Let me know. Then spirituality would not make any sense. Then spirituality wouldn't be able to help you. And to go back to what I was talking about before I roll out of here, you know what I'm saying? It's that time. So in the beginning, I mentioned how there's a relationship between spirituality and what you call reality, or maybe the physicality, right? Because reality is a combination of both. But your reality could be different depending on how much you know. How connected are you to the whole picture? Do you see what I'm saying? And other people, and that's what the movie Matrix was all about. And I use that example where, you know what I'm saying, if any station, anything like I've ever heard us talking about love, it's like love cannot pay the bills, bro. So your definition of paying the bills are real. That's when you gotta pay something. You getting smacked is real. So technically what you're saying is, you a bitch. So somebody gotta smack you for you to be happy. You've been trained as a hoe. That's where the slave mentality comes in. The bitch mentality is, you are respectfully a bitch. We're talking in layers here. Gotta get some more drink, man. Spirit's coming through. On top of you, I show you. But anyway, you see what I'm saying? Because now your reality, what moves you, is hurt. It's not happiness. That's why you're broken. In other words, it's destruction. That's why we are self-inflicting ourselves. We're killing ourselves. So the question of, does spirituality or even important? Or is it real? Or what can it really do for us? Nigga, you wildin'. You hurt. You's a bitch. Just by asking that question alone. So when I was having that conversation with the brother, I let it go. Nigga, you had that. Because you real. But I figured that's what I wanted to be general tonight too. Yeah, real bitch. That's what you is. But I figured I wanted to send this out to all the bitches. You know what I'm saying? Or that could be in the process of becoming a man, because you never know. Or maybe for my brothers that have bitches tendencies. When I say brothers, I'm talking about women too. Stay in alignment to what I'm talking about, right? Because we're talking about a bitch. But anyway, anybody, if you have those bitches tendencies, because you've been conditioned to be that way too. I mean, I'm just letting you know. If whatever hurts you, that's what your reality is, god damn. Wow. Can you see why it's hard for you to open your heart? Can you see why it's hard for you to be in love? Or even to talk about love? You're too hurt to even mention love. I was like, well, what the fuck? What the fuck is that? Not even trying to be funny. You're like, what the fuck is that? Does it pay the bills? That's a whole different language for you. I got you. I understand. I really do. What you want me to say? I really do. So much so, you know, I'm showing you a different way. Another way. And that's what the healer does. It heals you. Now, with that being said, nothing but love. Aisha, you already know. Mali.